Hey, Ben, thank you so much. What an
No,
honor
thank
to
you.
be here. What a great introduction. And I was going to say, I was looking at Julie backstage today. She looks cool as a cucumber. She's done this before. I'm super excited, maybe even a little bit nervous. So bear with me as we go on this journey together today. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge honor and a pleasure to be hosting this event today. I've been passionate about WebXR from my very first taste. And as an educator, I believe it will accelerate accessibility and democratization. And that is also essential for enabling positive impact, which we're working towards with the Virtual World Society. So go WebXR. Let's get the show going now. Here we are at the WebXR Production Summit 2022, the sixth and concluding summit in the WebXR Summit series. There will be more great events to come, but for now, we're coming full circle all the way from the first developer summit back in 2021 through design, business, education, recently brand, and now to production. And at this point, I'd like to take a moment to thank FutureWay for their generous and ongoing support in making these summits possible. What a journey it's been. At the beginning of this summit series, I had a vague sense that WebXR would be the future of XR, and at some point. Now it seems more and more inevitable. We've seen many examples of outstanding work, projects, developments, applications, and progress in this area that altogether underline the fact that WebXR is a great horse to be backing, as Julie will attest to as well. There are too many to list all of them, but here are some examples of what we've seen over the Summit series. We've seen Magic of Flight, which won a number of awards. We're going to be speaking to one of their team later on today. Wonderland Engine and all the work they're doing. Metaverse Engine itself, Julie and Alan Smiths and the work you're doing there. Secret Sky by Active Theory. Julie, do you want to jump in just for a minute? I'll switch you in here. Can you think of any others that are desperately need mentioning at this point, or that we just could mention?
Oh,
what stands out for you?
Hello, everybody, and
Hey.
welcome to the WebXR Production Summit. I'm proud to be here, and it's great to see you, Daniel. Thanks so much for leading this conversation today. I think overall the summits, there's so many people who have been creating amazing WebXR experiences, and it's been quite a journey of trying to figure out which ones are evolving from the marketing applications and now into business solutions that that are taking place. So I'm excited to hear about all the different case studies that are out there, and what people have been building, and that's why we're here today, is to find a little bit more about that.
Lovely, brilliant. Every summit, even when the gaps are small between the summits, there are always new developments. So we never run out of material in this industry. The acceleration rate is so high.
No, all exactly, right. And it's such an interesting time to talk about these different projects that are happening out there, and that's why this summit is so important, because we do talk about what is the recipe to a delivery or deployment of a WebXR experience, and getting right into those nitty-gritty details, which is my favorite thing to do.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Also, we'll be hearing today about some very exciting developments in scaling WebXR. I recently had a demo with one of our speakers, and it kind of blew my mind. So I'm really excited to be talking about that later on. I won't tell you who that is or what that is yet. Just have to stay tuned. But let's talk about production for a moment, because in many ways, production really brings it all together. Like Ben said just a minute ago, last year we were talking about what the metaverse is. This year we've been talking about how to metaverse. And now really it's time to build it. And quite suitably, our first guest in just a moment has an aptly named company called the Metaverse Construction Company, which I think is a brilliant name. We'll get into all of that in a moment. But yeah, production is really where the rubber meets the road, because we're talking about all of the worker bees, right? People out there, chief metaverse officers, XYZ, they're talking about what this will be and so on. Meanwhile, a lot of the people on these calls and these summits are actually the worker bees. They're in the bunker getting stuff done. And all of these individual labors and efforts together, for me, they remind me of that moment when the temperature drops and water starts to crystallize. And then the crystals kind of all, things start to solidify. One moment it's fluid, and then you get ice and it starts to kind of form and solidify. So that's how it feels watching the ice spread out over the lake.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know and understand, and always be understanding to be agile and have that agility in this industry. That innovation takes place upon every single conversation and how to make things better. And one thing that we do here at Metaverse is focus on, the first stage, the discovery stage of production is so important to understand the objectives, the key results, the OKRs, the needs assessment of the company. What are they trying to accomplish in building these experiences that will make it a success on the other side? And as I've called it in the past couple of summits, return on experience, the ROX, ROX, right?
Yeah.
And, it's sure profitability and margins are very important in developing all of these things. But most importantly is that feeling on the other side of the experience. And the people who we're going to hear from today are the people that are creating that feeling that happens in these immersive experiences. And there's definitely a lot of elements to these experiences. So we've got a great lineup coming up, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the different conversations. I'll be doing my sense making and behind the scenes, and I wish you a good show.
That's always a favorite moment, the sense making. Fantastic. And I really appreciate your perspective from the enterprise and commercial side of things. And a lot of production is geared towards that. And then we've got the creators who almost create for their own sake. Like, we have some proper poets among us that we'll be hearing from today, who they have a different approach. The return of experience isn't maybe first in their mind, or certainly not in an economic sense. Some of them are just testing to see what can be done, and then reporting back from the frontiers and saying, hey, look, I discovered this is possible. And then it trickles down to, would I want to say maybe slightly more conservative or risk-averse businesses? Certainly not all of them, but when return on experience is your first concern, then that frames how you're going to develop. Like you said, the original key performance.
The needs assessments and things like that. There's a lot to go through, and we've got a huge show that's about to unfold here. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're coming in hot in 2 minutes. I just wanted to say a word that you can't start the show without the M word. So the metaverse. I will quite happily continue on with a healthy, evolving multiverse. I know we're all working towards interoperability, and that's fine. But for me, an analogy I often use is like islands rising up out of the ocean. And currently we have an island here, an island there, a bigger island group over there. And as they keep pushing up, more landmass comes up, and it becomes a little bit of a landmass.
Yeah.
And then eventually we might have continents. Yeah. But I'm quite happy in this island phase, trying stuff out.
I like it too. It's really good. It's definitely a test trial type of thing going on. So I call it the technosphere, on how we're all going to be connected together. That's another word. But did you know that there are so many places that you can watch our show through today? Because there's 9 hours ahead of us. So we've got Frame. There's a link there. We've got VR Land. We've got Hubs. We've got the XR Women Museum, which is also hosted in Frame. You can watch us in Engage and Altspace. And then I'm like going through the list. There's so many places. We've got Facebook, and we've got Twitch, and we've got AWB Live. We've got so many different places to watch this show today. So
You could probably watch us on the International Space Station as well. Here we've got John Gress coming.
That'd be awesome. Maybe John Gress can have us get over to the International Space Station.
All right. Thank you so much, Julie.